Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Alex and today I just want to talk about the books that I plan to read in October. I still have 14 books in total for my 24 books of 2024 that I plan to read by the end of the year if I can help it. So it is officially time to cram. First up is going to be Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi, and this is actually a book club pick for Cat and I's book club, the Bookworm Club, which we are hosting on October 24th at 8 p.m. And this time it's actually going to be on Cat's channel, so hopefully you will join us for that. This is a horror novel about a school of boys battling demonic possession, and from what I've heard so far of other people who have read this, they seem to really like it, so I have high hopes that this is going to be a great success for our book club. Next, I will be revisiting something that is quite nostalgic for me, and that is Riter by Cornelia Funk. I have not read this since I was a child, and this is my original copy. I have kept it all of these years, and it was originally published in 2004, so for being a 20-year-old book, I would say that it's still in pretty great condition, if I do say so myself. By the way, this hardback copy originally sold for $15. Let that sink in. This is the story of Firedrake, Sorrel, and Ben, who all set out on an adventure to try to find the place where dragons can live in peace forever. Firedrake and Sorrel's current home is a valley that is about to be flooded by humans who have been consistently encroaching on magical creature territory, so they have to find the place that dragons originally came from. There's a ruthless villain and mythical creatures that they're gonna run into, and I just remember holding this book close late at night. I'm always scared to revisit books like this as an adult because of how much I loved them as a child and the fact that maybe they're not going to be as great as I remember. And you might think that that's not really a big issue because obviously I'm not the target demographic for these stories anymore, but nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and when I reread Midnight for Charlie Bone by Jenny Nimmo, I was expecting that all of that magic was just going to come back to me, and it didn't, and I'm hoping that maybe in this case it will. Regardless of whether I love this as an adult, I will always remember that I loved it as a child, so that is one important thing to keep in mind. Next, we have a book that I've procrastinated on since last year, which is why it's one of the books I'm starting with first this month, and that is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I have Bradbury to thank for my love of science fiction. Everything that I've read of his up to this point has been meaningful to me, but I haven't read any of his stories in years, so I'm hoping that I haven't moved out of my Bradbury era, as it were, because I definitely had one. For reference, I have read The Martian Chronicles, The Illustrated Man, Halloween Tree, Dandelion Wine, and of course, Fahrenheit 451. So this is going to be my 6th novel by Bradbury, and I will be absolutely devastated if I don't like it. This is the story of a carnival that comes the week before Halloween to ruin the lives of everyone in Greentown, Illinois. It promises dreams and youth restored, and it's up to 2 boys, Jim and Will, to solve the mystery of what is going on at this carnival and save the town. And what a perfect time to read this. I deliberately waited till October to get to this book because I wanted to read it around Halloween. Up next is going to be Under Fortunate Stars by Ren Hutchings, a subscriber recommendation that I'm interested in because it's supposed to have a unique form of time travel. This is the story of smuggler Jareth Keevan and his crew who have escaped into space, fleeing the final days of a war with the alien race known as the Felon. As they sail into the black, they signal to see if anybody is out there who can hear them, otherwise they're going to be set adrift in space forever, and to their surprise, they are actually picked up by a ship called the Galleon. Once aboard the ship, they realize that something's not quite right, as the crew of the Galleon is from 152 years in the future, and they know the crew of the smuggler ship, but the history that they know is very different than what actually happened. I'm really hoping that this is going to be my next 5-star sci-fi read because I haven't had one since the beginning of the year when I read The Three-Body Problem. And lastly, since I'm hoping to read 5 books this month, I have Under the Whispering Door. This will be my second Clue novel after House in the Cerulean Sea, which I read years ago, and I'm also nervous to read this one because I'm hoping that his writing is going to hold up for me because I remember how much I loved House in the Cerulean Sea. I want to believe that I'm going to love this just as much. This is the story of Wallace, who is collected by a reaper from his own funeral. He gets left at a tea shop on the crossroads with the owner Hugo, and after he arrives and Hugo says that he will help Wallace cross over to the other side, Wallace really begins to suspect that he's actually dead. But he feels like he has so much more living to do because he died young. He's been cheated out of the rest of his life. So he is given 1 week to do all of the living that he can before he has to cross over for good. The thing that I love about Clune's writing is how he blends difficult emotions with humor at the same time. There's a lot of humanity in his writing, and I'm hoping that even if this book is difficult to read because of the subject matter, that it's also going to be something that's heartwarming and maybe light in its own way. A feel-good novel, if you will. And those are the 5 books that I am dedicated to reading in the month of October. If you have read any of these and either really liked them or didn't like them, please let me know down in the comments below, because I always love to hear from you. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, that you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.